皆さんこんにちは。ケムシチャンネルのラレッタです。この前 Ask Me Anything 何でも聞いてっていう動画アップしたんですけど、みんないろんな質問を聞いてくれたので、あと前のやったディジ会、そのスカイプでストリーミングのディジ会も含めて、このみんなの質問に一気に全部全て答えたいと思いますので、今日の動画は Q&A Ask Me Anything の答えです。
Hey guys, before we get started, I wanted to share a quick tip. If you're learning a language, I wanted to let you know about a website called italki.com. This is actually the resource I use to find a native teacher who's teaching me Italian. But if you're looking for custom one-on-one lessons in Japanese, English, or another language, definitely check out the link below to see how you can get a free lesson. Okay, here we go. Hi guys! Konnichiwa! Okay, so let's get to some questions.
Okay, まず1番 Where did you go to college? In the US, in the state of Virginia, called the College of William and Mary. Number 2, what do you do for work? I do a lot of work with startup companies and with translation and localization, so basically helping startups branch into new markets, but basically startups, new companies, anything that allows me to bridge English-speaking and Japanese-speaking world. First thing I would say is figure out what that career might look like. If you want to be a translator, figure out what it takes to be a translator. If you want to do something else using language to do something, I would figure out just studying a language in a college doesn't make you qualified for a certain job. So in addition to learning language, learn a skill that you can apply that language to, and that's a great way to sort of break into a new type of career.
The JET program, that was it for me, and I was kind of struggling.
The JET program is definitely a great way in, but like if you don't actually want to teach, you probably shouldn't teach. It's like teaching is its own beautiful thing that should be done correctly. But if that's not what you feel you're drawn to do, then you should find Japanese companies that have branches here in the US and then see if you can kind of laterally get shifted over that way. In Boston is the Boston Career Forum. I think there's one in LA. There are a lot of Japanese career forums where they specifically want to meet international people here in the US and then bring them over to Japan. So there's a lot of things you can do from here.
Is the JLPT beneficial or more impressive for applying for a job? When it comes to jobs and employment, don't give them a reason not to hire you. Some people say that JLPT isn't the best resource or the best judge of your Japanese ability. That being said, a lot of jobs require or ask you to show that you've passed a certain level of JLPT. So basically, if they're asking for it, don't give them a reason to say no just because you didn't take it. So I would take the JLPT just because it is kind of like an industry standard. Are you coming to Japan anytime soon? Actually, the answer is but I'll talk about that in about 2 videos from now.
Place to live, would you rather live home or would you rather live in Japan? Or in between?
In between. I am a huge fan of the whole like timeshare thing. If one friend has a home there and another friend has a home there, and you can just flip-flop all the time, and everyone has a dog, and then, yeah. That's my ideal life.
Do you know anyone in Japan with natural African American hair and video on their experience?
Okay, I do know about a group on Facebook that talks a lot about Black culture in Japan. So if you are interested in that, I believe it's called Blacks in Japan. 身長はどれくらいですか? I'm 5'5". 日本で言うとセンチだと160センチだと思うんですけど 5'5".
How old am I? Guess. In Japanese.
18.
違う。27.
Oh, 27, sorry.
How do you keep your language skills adequate outside of Japan? Outside of Japan, basically I have a lot of friends who speak Japanese both in Japan and outside of Japan. I've always kind of been near a Japanese speaker, but I have YouTube, and when I didn't do YouTube, I also had voice recording. I used to always record my voice and listen back to it in tape players when I was doing a really mundane job. So using your mouth as much as possible, whether it be with a speaker or digitally, just make sure you're actually using your mouth to practice. What do you think about making a video on the Japanese warbirds? So Japanese women who married African American GIs back in like the war times. I don't know anything about this. it's an interesting topic. I don't have any personal experience, but if you know anything that I should watch, please let me know. How long have you been learning Japanese? Almost 14 years. Do you have a job using it? Yes. How long did it take you to get to the point where you can have a decent conversation? I would say, honestly, about 8 years, mostly because I'm a shy person, but you can definitely do sooner than that. Lastly, how long did it take you to use kanji and when did you start learning it? I started learning kanji as soon as I started learning Japanese because I had formal classes in high school. So kanji maybe took maybe 2 years to start using. Yeah, and when you went to Japan, what was your experience as an African American female? I put a link in the video description about my experience as a black woman in Japan. I hope you like it. Have you ever done modeling for your hands or your feet? I talk a lot with my hands, but I haven't modeled for my hands or my feet. What are you asking? Interesting. Next, 将来はどのような仕事に就くことを希望していますか？やっぱりベンチャーが好きですよね。で、会社でも商品でも新しいものを新しい市場に導入する、紹介するのが好きです。ですから、ベンチャーを運営するとか、ベンチャーに投資するとか、とりあえずベンチャーを巡る仕事が好きです。Everything about particles. I'm going to send you a link to an article by Thai Kim's Guide to Japanese.org. I can't even. Particles are like so. Okay. Think of it like this. Every sentence that you speak is a verbal version of something that exists in the world. You're using words to describe something that exists in the world. So different languages use different ways to tell you who's doing what in the sentence that you're describing. Who's the main character, who's like the supporting actors, what's like the main story in the action. Particles are kind of like each word in the sentence holding up a sign saying whether they're doing the verb, being affected by the verb, or just being kind of on the side. They tell you who's doing what in the sentence so that you can kind of conceptualize it better. But just check out the link below.
My question was basically, for you, which was the easier sentence structure to actually get the hang of?
So for me, I had an easier leg up into Japanese because of studying Latin a little bit. Latin is more of a stricter structure in that way, where they have like distinct cases that always mark that. But Japanese has those too with particles. So if you like structure in learning, that makes it easier because you know anything that has o after it is the object that's getting thrown around by the verb or things like that. But English is more difficult because our language isn't based off of case, it's based off of sentence order. So there's a lot of context in English actually that makes it more confusing because it lacks that like tagging structure. So it depends on like how you like to conceptualize language.
Is there travel credit cards for teenagers to earn free miles to get a plane ticket? I'm pretty sure you have to be 18 to get a credit card. So if you're a teenager under 18, free miles maybe not. But if you have a parent who travels a lot, I think they can transfer their miles to you. ニューヨークはテレビで、家賃がそうですよね。ホームレスになるってはありますよね。よくわからないんですけど、多分この仕事があるけどとりあえず家賃が支払えないみたいな状況っていうのが多分若者の話だと思うんですけど、逆に英語で言うと rent poor っていう概念があります。その家賃以外の電気代ですけど、家賃だけの rent poor っていう言い方があるんですけど、その仕事があるけどホームレスっていうのは多分若者の話だから、カウチサーフィン、その友達のカウチにとりあえず住むとか、その友達の友達の友達のソファに住むみたいな、場合は多いんですけど、他の場合はよくわからないんですね。すいません。一番好きな漢字は何ですか？糸は好きですよ。糸の略した書き方、それが本当に好きですよ。そのシュンシュンみたいな書き方、それから糸が出てくる返事の変の感じが本当に好きですよ。編みぐるみの編みですよね。その糸に、扉でしょ、と札わからないんですけど、書きやすくて、書くのが楽しいから糸が好きです。
Not competing with my friends. I'm a very shy but very competitive person. It's like opposite personalities colliding at all times. The moment someone else speaks Japanese, that's when I'm like, oh, game time! No. So just letting that go and just enjoying learning the language. Language is stressful enough. You don't need to stress yourself out comparing yourself to others. So that was like something I had to realize like this year.
Do you watch anime? If so, what's your favorite anime? You guys already know this, right? カードキャプターさくらの他に、あと何が好きだったか。結構悲しい話だったけど、どうして好きなんだろう。どんなにこんなに涙溢れてるみたいな名曲のアニメが好きだった。名前忘れちゃったけど、簡単に言うと美少女系のアニメが好きです。For me, like Fruits Basket, I loved Fruits Basket until the end when it got really ugly. I was like, why is this cute cat like everywhere? I love anime when it's cute little girls doing like amazing things, but I hate ugly anime like Akira. Ew! What is that?
Hi. Senpai. You only use senpai when you want to be noticed.
日本に来る前、現代でも忍者はいると思っていましたか？それは思いませんでしたね。そうですよ。ただその日本の歴史みたいな授業があったんですけど、そのいろんな侍とかいろんな歴史、信長いろいろありましたけど、その日本の歴史の最後のクラスの最後の日に誰かが手を挙げて、じゃあ Teacher, so where were the ninjas? っていう風に言いましたけど、確かにそうですよね。その日本の文化と日本のポップカルチャーと日本の、歴史の中でどれだけのものがフィクションか、どれだけが事実か、本当ははっきりわからないんですけど、忍者は多分いないと思ったんですけど、その侍がいれば忍者もいるはずですよねっていうように私もちょこちょこ思いましたけど、日本に行けるようになった頃は思いませんでした。はい、じゃあ質問はこれで以上です。皆さんどうですか？今回の動画は長くなりましたけど、みんなの質問に全て答えましたよね。いくつか残ってる答えはあるんですけど、それは後の動画で、答えたいと思います。はい、じゃあ今日はご視聴ありがとうございました。この動画が良かったらグッドボタンとシェアとチャンネル登録もぜひお願いします。I'll see you guys next time with more secret answers. Woo woo! またね！バイバイ！